Hi, my name is VASTI Jackson. I'm from Macomb, Mississippi. I'm a composer, instrumentalist, producer, arranger, and publisher, also an actor. When I'm working in one area for a long period of time, it's very refreshing to step out of that into something else. It kind of keeps my palate clean, and it doesn't confine me into one idiom. I think these things stimulate each other. I think for me, music is everything. So every aspect of rhythm, time, temperature, pressure, light, sound, the flavor of food, all of it is music to me. So whether I'm in front of the camera, behind the camera, whether I'm behind the console, or whether I have a guitar in my hand and a mic singing, or I'm producing other artists, there is a proper place, a proper vibe for all of it. And I think it complements. Said I was standing on the corner. All the music that I produce is medicine music. It's service music. It's music to uplift people. And I say that because it's not one genre. It's not just hip hop, and it's not just jazz, it's not just gospel, it's not just blues, it's not just reggae. So it is a variety of styles depending on what, let's say, an independent or a company may hire me to do, or what an artist may want me to do. So I'm a servant first of all. So it is to enhance what is already there, regardless of the genre of music. I'm hitting Morocco, playing the blues. I don't really know exactly when I started playing, just like officially. I started, let's say, being paid to play the guitar from the time of being 12 years old. So for everyone out there who may wonder how old I am, I'm happy to share that with you. I am 61 years old, and I'm so thankful to God for letting me experience these things in life to bring me to this point. So I would think I've been playing professionally for almost 49 years, 48 years as a professional musician. The guitar is my best friend as far as an instrument. I started off playing drums, but the guitar is something that's very comforting to me. You hear that sound? Some people might say that's the sound of a blues. But that's the sound of joy to me. I see a lot of change in technology. Music itself is an expression to communicate. And we've had that for thousands of years. So regardless if it's someone in the jungle beating two rocks or a symphony orchestra, it serves the performer to try and get across what they want to say to the listener. And oftentimes those things are just the elements of life. You know, a storm is coming. You know, it's time to harvest. I'm happy to see you. You know what I mean? A war is about to begin. You know, whether it's the talking drums, you know what I mean? Whether they're field hollers. So the purpose for music, I don't think has changed. Through technology, there has been different instruments created. There are traditional instruments, there are modern instruments. At one time, we didn't have electricity. So now you have instruments that are amplified in a variety of ways. So I think music as it unto itself is conceptually the same thing. So when I hear bebop, I don't really see that as an evolution to hip hop. I see it just as an extension of the same thing, because every generation has its vibe and its own attitude. And anyone that has lived long that's old, they were once young. You see, so you have these experiences over your lifetime and you react to them. So music is a reflection of culture. And no one, I mean, as let's say an entire country has the exact same culture, but they experience a lot of cultural similarities. And you hear that in music when you say, oh, that sounds like it's from Rwanda. Oh, that sounds like it's from Congo. That sounds like it's from Paris. That sounds like it's from London. Or that sounds like the music of Japan. But the music as itself serves the same purpose for the performer to communicate something to the listener.
So no matter how hard I try now, baby, you know I'm still in love with you. All the way from Mississippi, Mr. VASTI JACKSON.
Actually, the talent are not mine. The talents belong to God. So for me, I hope that I'm a good steward. I hope that I can enhance the mission of God through the communication between myself and other human beings with those talents. It's important that we meet people at their needs. I don't ever go into a situation saying, hello, hey, look at me, I'm so great and I can do all of this and y'all need me. No, I'm a servant. And the music, whether it's composition, whether it's playing the guitar, whether it's anything else, arranging vocals or whatever the case may be, it has to do something positive for people. That's what I'm most comfortable at. So in any case, if it's sitting here doing an interview with you, if it's on stage, that's fine. If it's in a studio where no one sees my face and no one sees my name, that's fine too. I get as much pleasure and reward for being in a room by myself, composing or creating music, as I do in front of 50,000 people. It is a different energy, but for me, the reward is no greater or lesser, because in that, my performance in any way is really an acknowledgement of gratitude to God.
Hello everybody. Well, I made it to Kigali, Rwanda. Listen, all of my COVID tests are negative and they are letting me out of quarantine today. Fantastic. Listen, I had a wonderful time in Ghana, thanks to all of my friends there, the Taste of Africa, Musica, everybody. Listen, we're excited about what we began there and the developments, and we look forward to the fruition. So let's see what Rwanda holds. And we will keep you informed on our...
The connection to Africa, or Kemet, or Akebalon, or whatever you want to call it, is before intellect. It is something that's cellular, epigenetic, molecular. And from that place, the things that I encounter, let's say from an emotional standpoint, they're not overwhelming to me and they're not surprising. It's exactly where I'm supposed to be. The aspect of traveling the globe, I have never used music to do that. My travel is a mission. It's a journey that God has placed me on. So wherever I am on planet Earth, that's where I'm supposed to be. Being that for whatever reason, and I don't need all the answers, that God chose to bring me into this existence via this vessel and the ancestors that I am in part lineage of, then Africa is the most comfortable place for me to be in the physical flesh on this physical earth. But just as I said, because of molecular, cellular, you know what I mean, epigenetic memory, ancestors, this is how my spirit, my soul entered this plane of existence. And that's obvious through the aspect of carbon, melanin, the texture of my hair, the hue of my skin, the rhythm of my heartbeat. So this is something that I don't question. You know, so the resonance that I receive physically by being in Africa is always the same. Actually, there is a certain strength that I feel increases when I'm here in Africa. Now, I've had that strength my whole life. Wherever I go, it has sustained me. God has sustained me through it. But it's something about being closer to the source. Now, in the United States of America, the closest place for that source of power is Mississippi. In Brazil, it's Bahia. And there are various places, you know what I mean, throughout the world that I feel, you know, different types of energy. So with Africa, there are things that I've known thousands of years ago that reveal themselves in different ways, and then I become consciously aware. And I'm ever so grateful because it's beyond my ability to logically explain why. But yet we can utilize those things for the benefit of myself, other human beings, children, elders, at hospitals, at schools, at concerts, in recording studios, in interviews such as we're doing now. Well, it wasn't so much relative to the entertainment industry. It was relative, and it is relative, to the connection of my ancestors for the benefit of strengthening, let's say, bonds between Africans in Ghana and Africans in Mississippi and throughout the USA. It was the aspect of seeing what would develop by humbling myself to the culture, to the people, seeing exactly what the vibrations were. And in most things with me, that always comes through in a musical way. So we were interfacing with many Ghanaians, wonderful musicians, wonderful singers, wonderful cooks, just all kinds of people in different walks of life. The peddler on the street, yeah? So the culmination of that has been music. So we did eventually do some recordings. I composed some material. And of course we used Ghanaian musicians because we're in Ghana, the source of that. And of course, when we look at those things from a stylistic purpose, then we say, okay, how does high life feel? And what are the relevant rhythms and things in high life in Ghana that are similar to Mississippi? Right. And those rhythms have been the same for thousands of years, regardless of whether we're speaking, you know what I mean, Tree, or whether we're speaking English. So that's kind of what was going on there. So we're very excited about our associations there with the brand, the company, The Taste of Africa. Well, one people beyond greatness, that's what we are, The Taste of Africa. Well, I think they complement each other. And I think, you know, in the future, we'll see more of what those collaborations bring. And also right now, I am part and an output of the collaboration between The Taste of Africa and Africa in Colors. Their dialogue, the similarities in what they are building is what brought me to Rwanda.
I'm here at Kigali Lake in my Barry White voice because it's early in the morning. It's absolutely beautiful here. It's about 3 hours outside of Kigali. And so I'm up, getting a bit of nature. I'm gonna take a walk, breathe in this beautiful air. It's kind of up in the hills, actually. And wow, this is absolutely beautiful. So this is part of the colors.
I'm finding it really, really nice.
and colors.
I'm learning a lot. I'm discovering a lot. I'm having a lot of wonderful encounters. There are lots of similarities in Kigali or Rwanda as it is in Mississippi. There, the thing that I found really interesting is that there appears to be a great deal of discipline in Kigali, because I haven't been all over Rwanda. And Ghana is very frenetic, and there's lots of activity and lots of energy and color, and you know what I mean. And they're really, really free in a different way, and so and time is a little more flexible in Ghana. Yeah, they're late all the time, beautifully late, by the way. So and in Kigali or Rwanda, it appears that people are a little better with time management, which is okay. I mean, I think these things can complement each other. I mean, there's a time to be tight, there's a time to be loose. Yeah. So I'm discovering, let's say, the similarities, the parallels, and things that are closer and things that are a little farther apart. And so I'm enjoying that. The food is very similar to the food in Mississippi. You know, actually, and we look, you know, it's probably a cliche, but we look so much alike, all the men and the women. You know, it's like 2 or 3 people have thought I was, you know, Rwandan. You know what I mean? Yeah, and I'm, yeah. So, and once again, I think that's DNA, genetics. You know what I mean? We had a chat with One Key, and we had a chat with Israel. And so, and we're meeting other performers and going out and hearing other performers, singers, instrumentalists. And we've gone to a few studios and listened to music from other people as well. And I'm enjoying it. I'm loving the things that I'm hearing. We went to the Rwanda School of Arts and Music, and the kids were just fantastic. They were so enthusiastic. And they are, you know, utilizing God's talents, enhancing their skill set and their craftsmanship. And so that was so delightful. And to hear and see them demonstrate more traditional music and traditional instruments. And I so appreciate that. I mean, you know, I never want to get away from the root. So we're always looking at, you know, acoustic instruments and tribal melodies and tribal singing, tribal dress, you know what I mean? And so we stand on the shoulders of those that come before us. So we should not ignore the root, because we are the fruit, and we should honor and respect our ancestors. I think you're already doing it. It's all incremental, yes? So we have to look at the aspect of demographics. Who are you targeting? Why are you targeting them? Not just what you want to present, but what do they need? Okay, so we can get into topics about technology, quality of audio, quality of video, quality of performance. We can get into the aspect of the creative mind. We can look at the aspect of the business mind, commerce, economy, you know, capitalism. These things can positively support each other if they are approached with a sense of righteousness and compassion. And when you don't let a negative ego, greed, and selfishness dominate. So I see Rwanda on a good track. I really do. From my gleaning or understanding, or what I've been informed, that there's a little over a little more than 12 million people in Rwanda. And it appears that a lot of people here are concerned about their art, their product, their services expanding beyond the borders of Rwanda. And if you're going to do that, you're going to have to consider the palates of people who may not speak Kinyarwanda. So you have to think about it. If you want to get more of an English audience, you know what I mean, or American audience, then you're going to have to season what you do with something that's more palatable to them, and vice versa. Well, you know, American R&B, funk, soul music, rock and roll, blues, gospel, you know, it's throughout the world. Everybody gravitates to the aspect of African American music. You cannot disconnect your roots from it. The aspect is whether you acknowledge it. You see, there are so many things that are unseen. We can't disconnect ourselves from H2O. We can't disconnect because there's always water in our bodies, even though we may not be sweating or crying or see it. So the roots of Rwandan music is always there. It's about how much light you want to shine on it, or how you want to illuminate, or what part of the surface you want to bring it to at the time. Now, if you're doing it with love and not out of ego and not out of pride, now pride is a very curious thing because you have positive pride and you have negative pride. Now, to want to go and say, I'm Rwandan and you better appreciate my music and blah, 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 blah. Well, this is ego. Now, but if you say, this is what God has given us, this is what we are, and we share this with you, enjoy it, what you find in it, and we want you to have access to it. So therefore, guess what? We're going to do a blog. We're going to put it on the internet. You're already compromising your roots when we begin to use cell phones. That's not a root way to communicate. We're already compromising when we use the internet. We're already compromising the roots of transportation, the roots of fashion. What are the roots of Rwandan fashion? You see? Now, are we diminishing that when we wear Prada or Givenchy? Huh? Now, I think we can incorporate those things, the roots with the fruits of Rwandan culture with other cultures, and everybody can benefit. The main thing is to remember is that we're not islands. We're not alone in this world. And there has been, I guess what we would say, global trade, right? Globalization has been going on for thousands of years. So you don't have to detach yourself from your roots. Just take your roots with you. You know, my advice is don't push. I think things need to start from a very natural place. Just do it out of love. Okay, are you making music because you really want to make money? Or are you an artist who loves making music? Now, create the thing before you try to sell the thing. We have so many situations where people are marketing and using social media and all kinds of things and creating a facade as if they are a thing, and they haven't developed a thing. Spend more time with the instrument, spend more time singing in a room that's not on Facebook, that's not on Instagram, that's not on Twitter. Develop the thing with love, with seriousness, with compassion, as something that can help mankind. And I'm not speaking that about Rwandan musicians and artists. That's everybody. But I respect people because you got terms like this. I'm on my grind. The hustle is real. Well, you ain't got to hustle music. Not if you love it, just do it. Now, once you do it with love, you're going to see how people react to it. So you got to share it, right? And then go from there. Go from there within your block, your neighborhood, your city, your sector, your country, and then extend. Yeah? But be realistic. Don't get caught up on the aspect of that God favors any language, whether it's Kinyarwanda, English, or French, or any other language. Be willing to communicate with purpose, regardless of the language. Do not let pride be your dominant driving force. Let compassion and love be that. Everybody needs it.
Said when I see your face, it makes me feel good inside.
Wow.
And when I see
There is more than one impact. Let me talk about more than one. It's obvious that the internet and social media have given artists and people the power and the ability to communicate with more people directly and not having to have the big machine, let's say, finance that through PR, you know what I mean? Major ad and marketing campaigns. That's obvious. With the aspect of streaming and downloading and piracy, music has been devalued. There was a time where if you wanted to get music, you had to buy an album. There was no way to download it, right? You heard it on the radio. And if you were lucky enough to have a radio with a cassette player, then you probably could record, you know, off the radio, and the sound quality was bad. So here comes, you know, Napster and all of these things, you know, and then moving on to, you know what I mean, iTunes and all kinds of other services. Now the writers and the artists and the composers are only getting like 0.3% a song or play. Now you can do a subscription service for 11 or 12 US dollars a month and have access to millions of songs. You see how music has been devalued? Now, so we like to say it's a catch-22. You can gain a bigger audience without having to sign to a record label. But when you get 1 million or 10 million streams, you still ain't made no money, right? So now, prior to the coronavirus pandemic, where you were able to go out and play live, and things that kind of flipped over, even more iconic artists, they were not receiving the type of royalties because people were buying less physical product and doing streaming and download. So they were going back on tours and stuff. Now, when you're meeting people, people may buy a CD or a t-shirt or a hat. What they're buying is a memory. You see? So they're buying more than the music. And so through marketing and merchandising, there's another kind of revenue through what we like to call first-hand contact. You know what I mean? So you got the catch-22 to answer the question, the internet and social media. The only thing about it, not the only thing, but another thing about it is that people are being extreme to get attention. So, you know, there's a phrase that says, any news is good news when it comes to marketing and publicity. You know what I mean? So if it's controversial, if it's bad, oop, I got your eye, I got your ear, I got attention from you. You know? And then there are things that you have too. I'm not downing anyone, you know. Do what you feel you should do. And you'll connect with like-minded people. But sometimes it just gets a little, you know, verbose when people are selling these completely false images. You know what I mean? You know, you just had one single out and you got a video with Rolls Royce and the Bentley and you're throwing money in the air and blah, 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 and you ain't sold no records. So, you know, I would like to say that some of those things, please take those things in stride. It's just like a short 3-minute movie that you know is a fantasy. I don't have a favorite song. I mean, music is so beautiful. It's such a beautiful gift. And so many songs touch you in different ways. You know what I mean? They can inspire you, they can chill you out. And I'm just thankful for all of it. I mean, and I'm not even talking about songs that are on the radio and artists. I'm talking about just like the little kids singing, walking down the street. You know what I mean? The old person. I mean, there are great artists that have never recorded. There's someone out in the woods, in the village, at the mountain, you know what I mean, that I hear, and it just, man, it thrills my soul. So I'm just like, just feed me. One word. Oh my God. Let me see. I'm drawing a blank, and I know something, I'm sure, but I am drawing a blank, and we've been going over words, you know what I mean, and I've been blowing them. So let's just say, Kivu.
Oh, okay, that's a name of a place.
Ah, you're very smart.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know about geography here in Rwanda.
Yeah.
Yeah, but no, no, I haven't really delved so much into the aspect of Kinyarwanda because Raul actually, said, "Oh, this is our mother tongue."
Yeah.
Yeah, and you begin to share with me about the culture and about the cows and about the dance and this food and so forth and so on. So I haven't. I've spoken a few words, but I'm normally very cool, and very relaxed and can maintain things. But you're charming me. That's a hard one, but I can give you a simple thing, and it's not going to be obvious when I say it, but make it talk. Make it talk. Okay, I'll tell you what it means. From an instrumentalist standpoint in Mississippi, no matter how much you play, how prolific you are, if the audience is not getting what you're trying to communicate, you're not making the instrument talk. So what that really means is be sincere about what you're trying to communicate and make sure it's plain enough for the listener to understand it. So whatever it is that we want to say, make it plain, make it sincere, so that the recipient or the listener can get it. Make it talk. Make it plain. Don't just babble for your own ego's sake. If it doesn't have a purpose, don't say it. Make it talk.